Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Liam, this is Mike, and we've called this Two Beards, One Chat. So welcome back. Obviously last week was our first week using this big chroma key screen behind us, and it seemed to work really well, so hopefully it's working well again.
Yeah, I hope so.
Otherwise it was complete beginner's luck. But it seemed to look really good and it's been really well received, so we're going to keep going with it. You'll probably notice in the last video I got a bit braver with the editing as it went on, and we added some more stuff in, and I'm hoping to do that from the start now because I know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
a bit more, touch wood.
So I can challenge you as we go.
Yeah. I'm a little bit more confident to say, look at this on the screen, because it worked last time. So we're going to keep doing this because it looks a lot better, a lot nicer, and a lot prettier. So updates from the last video. We've also now bought new lapel microphones, as you can see on the pair of us. Again, this will work lovely and it'll sound amazing, or it'll be horrific and you'll just hear him scratching his face the whole time, which is good. That's good stuff. And we've also got tablets everywhere for what we're talking about, which is amazing. So we're going full pro, aren't we?
This is it.
Yeah.
We're going the whole way.
Yeah, with the video.
With the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to clarify that.
With the video.
This is the internet. So what we're going to do now is we'll tell you about what we're going to do and cover in this video, and then we'll move on to the sort of topics, I guess, is the easiest way. Yeah. And what you'll hopefully notice over the coming weeks is that there's structure to these videos. It's going to be kind of similar for every single video on purpose, so you guys have something to look forward to, so you know what's coming, you know what to expect, rather than just sort of a random topic every now and again and sort of meandering off in random directions.
And it helps us to produce some decent content that's in a good format, and it's not just
and it's
me sat here going and nodding lots and going yes, exactly.
And it keeps us on track, which is the important part, because I'm terrible for that.
Yes, exactly.
So first of all, obviously welcome to everybody new who subscribed. We've had a bit of a subscriber climb since we've started doing these videos, which has been good to see, which is nice. And we've had lots and lots of really lovely comments and interactions from the last couple of videos.
Yeah, particularly on the last video, loads of nice comments, but good feedback as well, things we can actually get our teeth into and talk about and comment back. So we read all of those. So if you do want to comment, then we'll read it, we'll comment back. And
the feedback was lovely, and a lot of people have said actually that they're glad the chats are back and that they're glad we're doing this, because people use this stuff when they're painting, hobbying, modelling, whatever, and which was kind of the intention, so that's perfect, absolutely perfect.
Yes, indeed.
We're going to start a new segment as of next week. I'm not going to do it now because we haven't prepped for it. I have told you about it. You're looking shocked already. I have told you about it.
It loves to throw me curveballs.
So as of next week, we're going to do a comment of the week type section.
Okay, yeah.
I have chatted to you about it. It's basically one of our favourite comments from the YouTube comment section. Could maybe even be a Discord comment for the patrons as well. Whatever, it could be either just a comment on something that we like, it's funny, we enjoy it, or it could be a question or a point, or etc, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's like our sort of short form version of like listener mail.
Kind of.
So like people, don't write in anymore, but email in. I don't think we receive many emails.
Some, not many, no.
I don't know. I don't have access to it.
Not
currently.
I'm
not sure I want access to it.
No, there's some darks. No, there isn't.
Yeah, there probably is.
So basically, if you guys comment, the idea is we'll pick one, or maybe we'll both pick one. Either way, we'll pick one and we'll talk about it or mention it, etc. And it's part of the interaction of these videos, because they're nothing without viewers ultimately. I was just two idiots sat here chatting to the camera.
Well, this is it. Yeah. So it's dialogue between us, but also between you as well. That's what we want. We want to talk to you guys.
So we'll start that from next week. What we're also going to do every single week is our week in the hobby. I threw that curveball at you last time.
You did.
You looked a little bit shocked.
I was like, oh, I've not done nothing.
But now you're much more prepared for it. So basically, what we're going to do in that little section is cover what I've done and what Mike's done in the hobby. And again, the idea is that you interact with us on that and tell us what you've been up to as well, because we're interested to know. That's the whole point. There's another new section that Winters has asked for, and I'm not happy about it. And you are happy about it.
I quite enjoy this.
Called Necron Watch.
Necron Watch.
He is going to laugh his nuts off watching this now. He literally texts me about Necron Watch on a night shift about 15 times. I swear, just the words Necron Watch.
I'm gonna challenge you. So see if we can get some sort of like Necron counting up thing. So every week, ask you, how many necrons have you painted this week?
Yeah.
And we'll get a tally going.
Oh no.
So it'll be easy because all you need to do is just put a 1 and then that's it for like the next 6 months.
Done. Yeah. Or you'll see loads of Googled images of other people's painted necrons. Like, look at this.
I thought you were doing them blue. These ones are green.
So that's that. And then the last parts, I suppose, we're going to do is where Mike and I are going to pick a topic each. And we'll talk about those topics. So, for example, this week Mike wants to talk about his Aeldari Kill Team.
Aeldari Kill Team, yeah.
Which is cool because Kill Team's something that I'm loving at the moment, and you seem to be as well. So we're going to talk about his Aeldari Kill Team, the background behind him, why he's picked the specialists he's picked, etc. And then a comment that came from the last video to prove that we are reading them and we are feeding back as well. A comment came from the last video about why does all these videos, all these sit and chat videos have to be about competitive stuff, FAQs, nerfs to competitive armies, soup lists, etc. Very valid point actually, because when I start watching other sit and chats like Signals from the Frontline, which you've put me onto,
which is great,
there is a lot of like competitive based focus.
Definitely.
So he asked, why can't we talk about narrative stuff and narrative list building and what have you? And I love that actually from a Warhammer perspective as well, because Warhammer and Deployment Zone are all about more narrative stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's important to recognise that although a lot of focus is on competitive play, the vast majority of people who are involved in this hobby do not play competitively in a tournament. You know, there's a lot more people who are playing in their spare room, in their garage or whatever with their mates, you know, once a week or once a month, you know, and they don't play competitively. So we want to speak to those people as well.
We're a channel for the people.
Not just the super cheese tournament guys.
So, we did focus on it last time because the FAQ's coming. But I've got a new section which, if I haven't got something particular that's happened recently, like a community release or something like that I want to talk about, I'll probably be using this section for the next X amount of weeks until I've gone through all the books. And I've decided to go on a sort of stratagem focus type direction. And what I've done, so this week is the turn of the Adeptus Custodes. What I've done is I've picked a codex and picked my 5 favourite stratagems based on a combination of the rules that they provide and why I think they're cool, and the fact that I think they kind of fit narratively as well, which is really, really nice. Yeah. And how I think they interact. And some of them are also, so for example, this week, some of them are also stratagems you don't see very often. Yeah. And I would love to see used more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they just think they tell a story.
Yeah, I agree.
At which point, when we've done those 2 big sections weekly, we'll wrap it up and then we'll be good to go, and it's some more wonderful content for you to indulge upon, hopefully.
Yes, binge. Yeah.
Binge, yeah. Okay, perfect. And this will be episode 2, and you'll notice hopefully a weekly TV series, which is what we promised before. And so far we're keeping up with it.
So far so good.
Yeah.
We haven't got the next one booked in yet.
No.
But the rule is before I leave, we book in the next one.
So this one's being filmed on Wednesday the 12th of September. Now you'll notice when this one drops, it will be a little bit longer between when we filmed it and when it comes out, and I'm planning to put this one out on the Monday afterwards. So some quick maths in my head, that's the 17th, I think.
Yeah.
Close so enough. Monday the 17th, this will go live. The reason being is Mike and I chatted last time and basically decided that what we do is look to film sort of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, release video every Monday. So then you'll know when they're coming. That's the plan. Yeah. And what that means is if we're filming on a Friday, we've had the whole week of Warhammer community releases to review, if there have been any, we can chat about them.
And it also means that you're going to have to sit on it for a few days. The video.
I struggle to do that.
Yeah, because we recorded on Friday.
And I promised to release on...
straight afterwards. I went home at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then by about 10 o'clock the following morning, you're like, no, I'm putting it out there. And that was it. It was gone.
Yeah, I'm terrible for it. But that was because the last one I was really excited to share.
It was.
I thought it looked awesome.
I was fully for it.
Yeah. In the last one, you probably noticed that we looked a bit orange and weird.
You were ginger.
Yeah, that was the camera and the way I'd set the settings because I thought that was the best settings for chroma keying. Didn't realise it would turn me into a bit of an Oompa Loompa. So,
well, no, just your hair was orange and you were just like ghostly pale.
I'm not going to be orange and the green screen will work really, really well, or I may be a different colour to get it to work well, or I'll be normal and that will work terribly. But it's a lottery. We'll see.
Yeah, let's have a look.
This is the magic of film.
Yeah.
Cool.
The fun thing is you'll know now. We won't.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know right now.
So the first thing we'll cover, as we mentioned, is our weeks in the hobby.
Yeah.
So you can tell me what you've done the last week since we last filmed?
Yeah. So I've done a bit more reading on Drukhari, but I have done other things as well. So I've been starting to write a list for Drukhari, Homunculus Covens, Talos Pain Engines, Grotesques, probably with a Cabal attachment as well, detachment.
Oh,
yeah. Do it with some Venoms and some guys with blasters in, I think. You know, just scoot around the board and just lay down some melter everywhere.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a bit of that, just in the evenings really after work. But also last weekend, my other half was away. So I have started building some trees.
That was an anticlimax.
Yeah. No, so I've been making some papier-mâché trees. These are based upon something I saw. There's another channel out there called Tabletop Oddity. Jay, the guy who runs that, he's quite into Star Wars Legion, which is the new tabletop war game from I don't know who makes it actually, but it's Star Wars. Yeah. He has designed some trees, made some trees for an Endor board.
Yeah.
So I thought that's cool because I'm building a jungle board. You may or may not have seen a little bit of jungle scenery that I've made.
That was on Deployment Zone.
No, there we go. So probably haven't. Maybe you have if you're a subscriber and a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Anyway, I need to make some more jungle terrain, so I thought it's got to be line of sight blocking. So if I made some massive tall trees, it would just be a tube. It's papier-mâché, it's got texture and everything, and I paint it up really nice and put it on the base. But it won't actually have a canopy because it's simulating it being really tall. So the idea is that you won't see the tallness because that will just get in the way when you're playing a game.
Yeah, okay.
So they're like this sort of tall, so they'll be tall enough to hide a Castellan, you know, and a stand of a few of them maybe. So I've been working on that anyway.
That's cool. That's a
so it's kind of, so I've got like, a kitchen roll tube. Very high tech, but also like the packing tubes you get posters in and things like that. So if you just dent them up a bit, so they're not just cylinders, and then running some tubing up the side and just papier-mâché around it.
That sounds cool.
So it's be nice and textured and that. And I paint it up, it'll look like a tree.
Yeah. If you have seen what Mike's done on deploymentzone.tv, we used the scenery in an outdoors garden bat rep against Winters and his Tyranids, and actually it's really cool stuff. The shame of it at the moment is, no pressure, is it doesn't cover the whole board, because I would love to. The way you've done it with the big ferns and all the different colours and stuff, it looks very alien forest. Which
that's right. So I'm not a fan of the G-dub, Eldar, foresty, death forest, death world
lots of people
forest.
have said that.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I'm not.
I think it's a bit of a miss on that. But I like the idea. I like the death world forest idea. So I've got, I've been building some bases. I'm flocking them nice with static grass and foams. And
for me, they're Deathwell Forest. I think it's based on the amount of variation they have. So if you look at their ruined stuff and all their sort of different Sector Imperialis, Sector Mechanicus type stuff, there's now loads of it. So that you can comfortably cover a whole board in Sector Imperialis and Sector Mechanicus scenery.
Yes.
And even if you buy the same box 3 times, you can build it 3 or 4 different ways.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I'm not a fan of the Deathwell Forest stuff. It's because that's your box.
It lacks that versatility.
Yeah, and with one box, you're not going to cover a board.
No.
So you would need multiple boxes to cover a board and that stuff, and then it just looks repetitive, and I don't like that.
Yeah, and also none of it's really line of sight blocking either. I mean, maybe for infantry, but not for big models.
No, of course.
There's no large bits, so it's not really functional in that regard. So I've built some sort of rocky outcrops and things to be line of sight blocking, but I want a bit of variety for that line of sight blocking terrain. So I sort of tall trees, and I'll do them in a stand of like 3-4, so they're as much as possible it will completely block line of sight.
That's cool.
So
I love that sort of stuff, and it'd be cool to see it and maybe get it used as well. It'd be interesting to film with that.
Yeah.
And I love the Endor Forest scene from Star Wars as well.
Yeah,
so if you
absolutely.
can have something similar to that as well, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, so it's those tall redwood trees.
And I've been screaming for GW for years to do more than just Imperial-based scenery. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand why they've stuck to it, and you can now cover a board with it, with ruined scenery. It looks cool.
And it's really good quality stuff.
But you look at the webway gate they kicked out recently, that is gorgeous.
I want to get my hands on that because I want to cover it in vines and make it like it's
like an old derelict not been used. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so I want to get that. And they're rated like 25 quid, aren't they? So.
They're not, yeah.
And
their rules are okay as well, actually. Yeah. I don't know what their rules are.
No, it's a webway gate, isn't it? So you can deep strike through them, but then if you get close, you can beat them up. And
essentially, it's a 16 wound, toughness 8 model with a 3-up save, basically. You can deploy it anywhere on the board as long as it's more than 3 inches from the centre of an objective and more than 3 inches from another terrain piece.
Yeah.
And then if you do that, you can basically keep any of your Aeldari models in the webway.
Deep strike set, but you can't bring them in if an enemy model is close.
Yeah, so at the end of every single turn, you can bring 1 unit through the webway if you've got stuff sat in the webway. If the gates are destroyed, you lose them. And essentially, when you bring them through the webway, they have to be more than 9 inches away from enemy models.
Yes.
So if an enemy model moves within 9 inches of that webway gate or surrounds it, you can't get anything out, which is a bit of a pain. Saying that, if you're playing pure Harlequins, they've got stratagems that allows you to get around that.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking about sticking a Wraith Knight through the webway, which you can do.
Yes, it does fit. It looks good as well, doesn't it? It looks like
you can put a Wraith Knight through a webway. If you're planning to do that, be very wary of how far forward you put that webway gate on the off chance that that the enemy will surround it. Now, one of the things I love about the Webway Gate, for me personally, I like the dual Wraith Cannon Wraith Knight. However, in games where I've taken it in the past, every now and again, you find that if you don't get first turn, that thing takes an absolute pounding first turn.
So doesn't have an inbond, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No.
So, and even the Sword and Board only has a 5-up. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
But when you've got armies that can spam things like Mortal Wounds, it doesn't mean a lot. So what I love about the idea of a Webway Gate potentially is to put that on the boards and then not have the Wraith Knight get shot to pieces. So I thought, genius idea. That's a genius idea. Webway Gate on the board in my zone.
Yeah.
They have turn 1. My Wraith Knight's fine.
No big deal.
But the problem being is a Wraith Knight is significantly tougher than a Webway Gate. So I just destroyed the Webway Gate instead. So I can't bring him on.
Just made it easier, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Wasted
so
more points.
Solve the problem.
Yeah, a little bit of the shortcoming there.
So,
but for narrative play, there's loads of like scenarios you can build based around that sort of thing, you know.
And even if you just use it as a terrain piece, because it looks cool.
Or like if you have to get to it and then it activates and you can release your troops through it, you know, you can house rule it so it can be within 9. Whatever. There's loads of options there and they look great. So,
yeah, they do look awesome.
So yeah, I wanna muck one up and cover it in loads of vines and jungle stuff because I think that'd be cool, yeah.
So my week.
Yeah, your week in the hobby. What have you been up to?
Loads.
How many necrons have you painted?
No, we haven't gone. We're not at Necron Watch yet.
Right,
There's going to be a Necron Watch coming across this room.
I was too eger.
You were, and you're not going to like the answer. So I've been really busy actually. I've done loads, not Necron related. I have a tournament coming up in October at First Confrontation in Portsmouth. A guy called Ricky runs that. Confrontation Events is his Facebook page, check that out. We're going and representing Warhammer and DZ in October with Plasma Sam and Brom, and so there's a few of us going over, which will be really cool. So I've been starting to think about lists and stuff for that, and I thought I would use it as an opportunity to maybe paint some stuff that I've not yet got painted.
Yes.
Because deadlines are always key, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially for me.
Yeah.
So I was looking at competitive-based lists based on the current tournament restrictions, and it's a tough one because the FAQ's due out in September as well.
It's coming out this month, isn't it? So.
Yeah. So there's a list I've written, and you've seen it, that I reckon will get smashed to high heaven with a Nerf bat. So I'm aiming off a little bit.
Yeah.
And prepping some other stuff. So I've been tournament list writing. I'm not going to give anything away just yet because I haven't settled. However, in support of that tournament list writing, I have been painting some models.
Yes.
Not many.
I can attest that he has painted some models.
And but some of the models that I'm painting not only fit in the tournament list, but they also fit in my list for No Surrender. Now, a lot of you will be going, what the hell is No Surrender?
That?
So basically, this month, in just over a week's time, I'll be flying out to Gibraltar for No Retreat. And I can't wait. It's going to be awesome, very elitist tournament because it's invite only. There's some awesome people going, including Winters, Lawrence from Tabletop Tactics, etc.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you're invited.
No, I think I'm just a tag along, to be honest.
Yeah, making up numbers.
Yeah, so really excited about that. But some of the patrons decided that what they would do is create an event for the same weekend called No Surrender.
Yes.
Instead of No Retreat, you can get the play on words.
Very clever.
Richie's a genius.
Isn't he just? Yeah.
So they created No Surrender.
Don't tell him that, though.
What they didn't do, what they failed to do was book the tables at Warhammer World.
Well, yeah.
So No Surrender is no longer the same weekend as No Retreat.
No.
It's now on the 18th of November.
Yeah, but to be fair to Richie and the guys, there was an event going on at Warhammer World. That's why it was. It's not just because it was...
But it was hilarious. They picked the date specifically,
funny,
and now it's in November. Yeah. So Richie's sticking together kind of a really relaxed sort of tournament type feel. So I think he's doing knockout rounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just basically an excuse, again, for patrons to get together and throw dice. And they're doing that at Warhammer World on the 18th of November. And I said I'd go.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I go? I think it'd be amazing to meet some more of the guys. But he's got a 1,000-point restriction on it.
Yes.
So
it's little game. It's because it's going to be quite a few games on a Sunday.
Yeah.
At Warhammer World.
So it's open 10 till 6 on a Sunday.
Yeah. So it's limited time.
So I'm now sticking the list together for that as well, and Richie's doing his head because I won't tell him what it is.
No.
Which is a bit of a horrible move because it's his day. But
it's quite amusing though, isn't it?
Yeah. But
he can take it. He's a big lad.
To be fair, I did originally say I was going to take Imperial Knights, and I had a list which was a Knight Gallant and 4 Armigers, and I've decided not to take that because it's just I won't use the word because we don't use that language, but it wasn't a very nice move.
Not on camera anyway.
Yeah, no, exactly. So we're not doing that. But he has told me I have to stick to Imperium. I thought, okay, sweet. And now he doesn't know what's coming.
No.
It's killing him. So I've been busy with that stuff as well.
Trying to make it as abusive as possible.
I've started to paint up to my Blood Angels kill team, which will obviously bleed into the next big topic, which is your kill team, because that was good fun. And I've also just recently dug out some more Eldar models that I had. So I have 5 Wraith Blades and some Wraith Lords, which originally I was painting up in a dark blue scheme months ago for Ynnari list. And I thought to myself, why wait for Ynnari? I've only got those few models anyway, so I've now started to repaint them red for Simhan so they can join my Simhan war host.
Yes.
Which will be cool.
Yeah.
Because more variation for battle reports, especially on deployment zone, is key anyway. So
yeah.
I was looking at the Wraith Blades, realising that they're infantry, and in Simhan, infantry get to reroll failed. Well, actually, all things in Simhan get to reroll failed charge distances, so you can.
And they are pretty nasty.
Well, you can stick them through the webway.
Yeah.
Which is cool. They have 2 attacks base plus 1 on the charge, so 3 attacks each on the charge with a strength 7 or 8 axe, which is AP -3 and D3 damage. It is -1 to hit, and they hit on 3, so they hit on 4s. Yeah. If you have a warlock nearby, you can give them +1 to hit because they're infantry. Yeah. There's all sorts of shenanigans you can do.
Yeah.
And I thought actually,
they're quite scary as well, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think the thing is, I think you see a lot of the D-side Wraith Guard, and I've got a set because they were dirty good in 7th edition, and 7th edition I was a tournament player. So I have a set of D-side Wraith Guard, and I was editing a battle report today with Plasma Sam that's going up in deployment zone, which is my Eldar versus his Admech, and I thought I would like some variation rather than using the same stuff.
It's always the same, yeah.
And since I've got the models and they're built,
that's it. Saves you having to build loads of Guardians.
It's just an excuse. So I've also got I've got 3 Vipers to paint up upstairs and stuff like that, which is still Simhan stuff, and I think I am going to add some Guardians.
I think you've got to, really.
I think that restriction of no extra command points in a battalion is killing me. You need to be able to
do a battalion, don't you? I mean, come on.
Yeah, and kind of. I did think about using just Rangers instead, but I think I want some squads of Guardians.
You won't do Rangers.
Why not?
Because they're resin.
I'd have to eBay metal ones.
And as discussed last time, they come wonky.
They do come wonky.
I still haven't straightened them out, actually.
So I have to get metal ones, and I have to go on eBay for those and wait till some turn up. Unless loads of people have got metal ones I want to send, because I've been trawling eBay.
Address in the comments.
Yeah. So that's practically my hobby. And obviously, I've also been doing lots of reading. Sometimes I find myself picking up a random codex and skimming through.
Yeah. Well, you've got them all, haven't you, pretty much?
Oh, you have, yeah. And because I like reading the codexes and knowing the armies. And this week was the Adeptus Custodes turn, which is why that's the stratagem focus for this week.
Yes,
that's cool.
Indeed. Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you managed to paint lots of bits of lots of models.
I haven't finished a single thing. But I've made better progress in the last 2 days across various different models.
As I said to you off camera, I'm not going to knock it because you've painted a lot more than I have this week. You've painted a lot more than you have in
the last 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good step in the right direction, even if you haven't even finished a single model.
No. But some of them are starting to look quite good. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Getting that painting mojo back.
Yes, and it's important because I think, certainly for me personally, I think you'd probably agree, that's probably the toughest bit, is getting the motivation to fully paint everything.
Yeah, I think if we're honest, that's probably the toughest bit for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's exactly what I mean.
And there was a question in
bit of the hobby, really.
Was it in Discord? I think it was in Discord. There's a question in Discord, I believe, from one of the patrons when we were asking for feedback on the last video and topics I'd like covered.
Yes.
And we're not covering that topic today, but we're definitely going to cover this in a future video.
Got loads of topics.
And that's about keeping your mojo, stopping your hobby blocks, keeping yourself motivated, keeping you going. How do we do it, and how do people do it, and what's the best way to do that? So I found a new thing over the last couple of days that keeps me motivated, and that's what I'm using, and currently it's working. Touch wood.
Yeah.
It's always subject to change
because you're you.
I'm me. Yeah. So we'll cover that in another video about hobby blocks and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good topic, isn't it?
And now, before we move on to our big topics, we have this new section.
Necron Watch.
Necron Watch.
So, Liam, how many Necrons have you painted this week?
Absolutely not touched them.
Have you even touched them? No. Have you actually laid a finger on any of them?
Yes. Because half of a made tomb blade fell on the floor. So I had to glue it back to...
Oh, right, okay. You just put them back?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
It wasn't finished, I just put it back on the shelf.
Didn't have to prepare them or anything like that? I
haven't touched them. No. Do you know, a part of the reason is because I threw a strop, actually. Right. Because 3 weeks ago...
How unlike you.
3 or 4 weeks ago, I bought 3 Doomsday Ghost Arcs.
Oh, yeah.
They finally came back in stock on the web store, and I went, I'm having some of that, I'm buying 3 of them. And when I bought them, a patron said, oh, they're horrible to build. And I was like, they're on the way now. And it turned up, and I opened the box, and went, Oh my god!
There's only 40,000 pieces per model. Oh, this would be no problem.
So one of those is also half built.
Yeah.
And I went, no, not doing that anymore, and that was it, done.
I mean, I was here. I think like a day or two after they arrived, and you'd started building them, and it was quite amusing.
It was just tears.
Yeah, you couldn't record that.
And
would not be suitable for public consumption.
I have an intent to get them painted at some point in the next 2 to 3 years.
Decade.
Yeah. Well, you went. Yeah. Okay. I went bolder than you did. Right. Cool. That's that, I think.
Should we do some topics? Should we do mine? My kill team?
Yeah.
Shall we?
Okay, we had to have a bit of a reset because Mike wanted more tea.
Refill.
Yeah, and I noticed that my microphone was waving around in the wind, and you decided not to tell me a single... You didn't tell me at all, basically. He didn't even tell me when I stopped the camera filming to make tea. I just went, has that been hanging down for ages? Went, yep, long time. Thanks, mate.
Well, the thing is, the way I think about it is the embarrassment of the amateurishness of it will drum it into your head.
Yeah.
So you'll be paranoid about it now, and it
won't
happen again.
It won't happen again now, because I hate the fact that I now have a big chunk of video, like 20 odd minutes worth of a microphone just waving around like.
And just not sure if it sounds going to be any good or not. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we've played a little bit of it back, and it seems to be okay.
I'm sure it's fine.
Otherwise, this is going to seem like a really weird video because we'll be starting here. Anyway. Now we're on to our two main segments, one that he picks, one that I pick.
Indeed.
And this week it's your week to go first.
Yes,
and we're going to talk about your
kill team.
Yeah,
that's
the one.
So it's my second kill team. I started off with a Tyranids one because I got Tyranids army, and it was easy just to get 9 gene steers and call it a kill team.
Yeah.
But they're rubbish.
Wasn't easy to play with.
No, they're rubbish, or I'm rubbish with them. Probably a combination of the two. So I decided I would build a different kill team, and I like Eldar. I'm a Xenos player, really. So I thought I'd get a Aeldari Kill team together. So the way I started doing this was very much from the narrative, build it from the ground up. So it's kind of based loosely on one of my favourite anime, which is going to come up a lot in these videos, much to your disgust.
No, it's good.
Because I love anime. And points to anyone who knows what my t-shirt is.
Yeah.
It's a bit obscure, you don't know what it is.
I have no idea. But it's good because there's a massive anime following out there, and I have no idea about it.
Yeah.
And people have already shouted at me for not knowing what Studio Ghibli was.
Studio Ghibli, yeah.
I think it was Sorcerer Dave.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did, yeah. And quite rightly so.
So he shouted at me.
Yeah.
Sorcerer Dave, by the way, is a patron of Warhammer. He's an absolute legend, and he also has his own channel, which is called Sorcerer Dave. If you check that out, it's predominantly computer gaming type stuff at the moment, and he's got it on Twitch, but he's also just started producing battle reports.
He has. He's got a couple out now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. And he's done, I think
at time of filming, 2.
And he's done quite well with them. So
they're great,
go check his stuff out. I don't need to plug him because he's got many more subscribers than we have.
By a factor of 10.
At least,
yeah.
Maybe more. We're at 5.5 and he's at 75,000.
Yeah, so he's doing all right, yeah.
Yeah.
So don't feel you have to go over there. He's,
Anyway, so yeah, anime links are great for people because I haven't got a clue about them. People love it, and you do.
I do. I don't watch a lot of anime all the time, but I have watched an awful lot in my life. So, based loosely on Cowboy Bebop.
Yes.
Which is an anime, and it's what's referred to as a space opera. Right. And what that means is that it's set in space. Yes, they're called space operas. No, it's not an opera. No, it's just they're just called space operas. And what it is it implies a grand scale.
That's hot.
It's tea. It implies a grand scale. So it's a wide open space, and it's like a small crew of people on this ship, and they're bounty hunters.
Okay.
So they're basically oddballs and weirdos, and they're sort of flung together for various reasons, and they're traipsing about space trying to catch bounty hunters and scrape a living. Okay. And they spend most of the time being like hungry and bored. But it's a lot of comedy, a lot of really good action in it. It's a real landmark series. Anyone who watches anime knows what Cowboy Bebop is. It's a really, really big series. But I love the idea of just like a group of people just kind of like on a ship in the middle of nowhere, kind of like just sort of trying to scrape a living. So I thought that would fit quite well with an Aeldari Kill team because they're from an extinguished craft world. They're the last remnants of this craft world. They're on a ship floating through space trying to scrape a living together. So they're kind of Eldar privateers. That's the idea. So I've got a leader who is, he's a Dire Avenger Ezarch with the Power Glaive Shuriken Pistol. And he's the prince of this extinguished craft world. He's the last of the royal line. So, and when I played against Plasma Sam's Admech, he toasted the Alpha and another Vanguard in combat, which was great. He kicked some
backside, didn't he?
Yeah, he did really well. Yeah, he did.
Before I think he then broke.
No. Well, my team broke.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
He didn't die. Yeah, so I did lose. But yeah, thanks for pointing out.
Yeah.
But while he still had his wits about him, he was pretty epic. So I like that. But I've done like a backstory for all the characters in my team. We've got 11, 12 models or whatever. And they're all, the idea is, I've written it all out. I'm not going to go through it all in massive detail. And I've named them all as well. They've all got names from Tolkien Elvish as well. I do all these sort of things. So I've got a leader, Dire Avenger, Ezark. He's got 2 of his retinue, and they're like the guys who are supposed to like look after him, keep him out of trouble, because he's basically the prince is this sort of douche jock, basically, because he's a prince. He's raised with a silver spoon in his mouth. So he's got his 2 Dire Avengers who are there to keep him out of trouble.
For the English monarchy watching this, not all princes are douches.
No, ours are very nice. They do good.
Because they're probably watching.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Interfered your flag. Go
on. Yeah. So 2 Dire Avengers to go with the Ezark. Then I've got a couple of Rangers because you need that long range firepower and you just want to hide them in the back somewhere sniping people.
Yeah.
But they are wonky currently. So the idea with those is the narrative behind those is they're the ones that go off and they go and find bounties, find things for them to go and do, basically.
Like the squad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one's the sneaky one, one's the the crack shot. Then I've got a pilot who is he's a Storm Guardian with an Aeldari blade and a Shuriken pistol. I've got the ship's captain. He's a veteran and he's got a fusion gun, but I've actually modelled him with twin fusion pistols. So it counts as fusion gun, but I thought it was quite cool.
It's a gunslinger. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's really cool. Navigator. It's another Storm Guardian with Shuriken pistol and Aeldari blade. And I've got a mechanic. The ship's mechanic. It's a female Aeldari. She's a Guardian Defender with Shuriken catapult, but she will be the one operating the heavy weapons platform with the Shuriken cannon.
Yeah.
So
she's got that weird.
The weird sort of joystick thing.
I don't know how to describe it on a PG-friendly channel.
I know.
But it's a bit like that. It looks a bit odd, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it would be painful.
Yeah, it does.
The point I'm trying to make with this kill team is that I've built it up from the narrative, and it's an idea I had, something that I really enjoy in other media, and then trying to just cram a few things together. So it's a bit of anime, Cowboy Bebop, it's a bit of Tolkien because it's elves, and just trying to build it all. And some of the characters as well. So the Doctor, he's basically an alcoholic, nicknamed Rafe Bones. He's Guardian Defender of the Shuriken catapult. But the ship's captain, his daughter is the mechanic. So I've just built this kind of story of all the characters, trying to build them in with it.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So that's all I want to say, really. I just think that Kill Team's great because you get a really good opportunity to really kit bash all your models. And one day, if Liam ever agrees to it, I might even be able to put photos of them up on the screen so you can see how I've kit bashed them, and then you'll find out what the £9 haircut's all about as well.
Yeah, he has a 9. Yeah.
So I'll explain what that is, and I might as well. So my leader, the Prince, he's a Dire Avenger Ezark, as I said, but for the head, I've used the head from the Dark Elf Fleet Master from Sigmar, and he just has this wacky, crazy like mohawk
massive,
thing.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy, but it just makes him stand out,
But you had to pay £9 for that model.
Well, the model's £12, so I bought it on eBay and got it for a £9.
Just for the hair.
So I'm saving money.
If anything.
Yeah, but the plan is as well. So I've got the Fleet Master, the body obviously, and all the rest of it there. So actually, I'll use that and make an Archon out of it. It'd be perfect for an Archon.
Okay. Yeah.
Questions, concerns, ideas.
It's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting to know that you've gone to Asiani for a kill team. So I've seen a fair amount of kill team stuff floating around. Nids are popular because they have lictors as well as gene stealers and gaunts and stuff, and warriors.
Yeah.
Primaris Marines seem to be quite popular at the moment because they actually perform like Primaris Marines should. And then you've got Deathwatch, which are very popular because of their frag cannons, etc. Frag cannons are arguably one of the best weapons in the game, perhaps at the moment for kill team. Maybe
there are some other weapons that are pretty powerful as well.
Yeah, AdMech are common because they have lots of variability. There's lots of different options and choices.
And they're in the box.
If I'm honest, well, there's that as well, of course. But if I'm honest, the one thing I haven't seen is is an Aeldari Kill team. So if you do see any sort of Aeldari Kill team, it normally is Harlequins.
Yeah.
Because Harlequins are, dare I say it, in Kill team, incredible.
They are, yes. Plasma Sam's Harlequins did a number on my Gene Stealers.
They're exceptionally quick. They have an invulnerable save, so they're relatively durable. They kick out a bucket of attacks. They have access to some semi-decent weapons. So I think I've got 7 in a kill team with a couple of kisses and stuff like that thrown in there.
Yeah, and they basically ignore terrain.
That's the other big thing.
They ignore the difficult side of terrain.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you can keep them out of, keep them from being shot, then they're great. I mean, obviously the downside is they're low tough. But
so it's really interesting that you've gone Aeldari, Asiani, basic, standard, Eldar. Why those? Because there's still Dark Eldar as an option, and Dark Eldar arguably fit the raiding theme a little bit better.
Yes, I agree with you. However, I wanted them to be, I suppose you can't strictly speaking call Asiani good. You know, they're more neutral, aren't they? For their own ends. They're good, yeah, right. Anyway, so I like the side that they're not evil, you know, they're not like, you know, murder, rape,
Eldar fan.
Yeah. I like Eldar too, I do. But one of the things with Kill Team that makes a good Kill Team, I think, is having a variety of different models that can fulfill different purposes and functions and things. I like having a heavy weapons platform because I've got shuriken cannons, 3 shots.
Yeah, it's strength 6.
So it's wounding most things on 2s. You know, I like the short range, high number of shots as well. Shuriken catapults, 2 shots at 12 inches.
Yeah, it's just an interesting choice because, like I say, the Dark Eldar, I think, the narrative tends to lend itself a little bit more to the sort of narrative you've gone for with these. Yeah. And I actually also would be as bold as to say that I think the Dark Eldar models are easier to kit bash with the Witches, the Hellions, the what's the jet bikes called for Eldar? Reavers, and the Cabalites, Witches, etc. All those different models, and there's a lot of plastic in there and a lot of interchangeability.
They're great kits as well.
They're amazingly nice kits.
Yeah, and there's lots of little extras and bits and pieces you can bung on them, extra spikes.
So I've got absolutely no interest in collecting a Dark Eldar 40k force, a Drukhari 40k force like you are looking at doing.
Yes,
but I would definitely think about a kit bash and a kill team because the models are great.
Yeah.
So I was just a bit surprised. And don't get me wrong, you've done a cracking job of what you've built so far. The Prince's hair is glorious.
Oh, it is. It's amazing. It looks great.
It just surprised me that you picked Eldar. But yeah, I do get the options of the heavy weapons and stuff that others don't.
Yeah, I like. I've always liked Eldar. I've done it mainly, almost entirely for narrative reasons. Just because I had an idea, I liked it. I thought, yes, I'll do that. I don't particularly fancy painting a whole Eldar army either, particularly.
Really? Are they not that bad?
No, I suppose. I don't know.
I think they're quite easy to look. So from my perspective of Eldar, if you look at my Simon, which have been on the channel previously, they're relatively easy to look good and tabletop good.
Good quality base coats.
But if you look at them close up, they're nothing to write home about. So they're never going to. So to make them that level of amazing, they become very difficult. Yeah, there's lots of detail that you could work on, and I don't.
I think some of the best armies I've ever seen are Eldar. You know, I mean the freehand they do on the tanks and stuff people can do is amazing. It really is. And I admire that hugely. I don't think I'll ever necessarily get to the point where I could do freehand like that, but I do think they are some of the best looking armies out there.
Yeah, Darren Gwynn, who's a guy who used to appear on Visicast, he has an Ulthway army. And he has been on about getting on either deployments on Warhammer soon to film battle reports, which would be
great.
It'd be great just purely because of the way his models look.
Yeah,
but if he brings those, I most definitely won't be bringing out my Eldar. No. They'll stay in the cupboard for the next 6 months.
Because they look like
dirt. I won't put them side by side.
Yeah.
Or I'll make sure that when I put his on, I'll put some Vaseline over the lens so you can't see how nice they are.
Yeah.
Just because I'm selfish. But yeah, I mean, that was why I was surprised it was Asiani.
Yeah.
And on top of which, so I'm looking at potentially now kit bashing a Autarch and some Shining Spears for my Simon force, because it's just something that I haven't got, and they're very good, I think, in the current codex.
Oh, they definitely are, yeah.
So I've been looking at kit bashing those, and actually kit bashing pure Aeldari Eldar is quite hard.
Yeah.
Because you don't have a lot in the way of sort of different components, because Guardians are Guardians, and if you want the Storm Guardian pack, it's dreadful. And then you've got Wind Riders with no additions. And the only other thing you've got is Farseers and Warlocks, which basically is a head swap, a weapon swap, and a little panel on the front. And that's it, otherwise they look the same.
Yeah. Well, you can't even get the Storm Guardian kits anymore. You can only get the upgrade sprue.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, the resin upgrades. Well, you used to be able to buy the kit, but I suppose.
And the resin upgrade sprue looks dreadful.
Yeah.
And then if you look at what annoys me the most is the Wind Riders are, I think, gorgeous looking jet bikes. What's it called? The Farseer Skyrunner and the Warlock Skyrunner.
Yeah.
Gorgeous looking models. I hate the fact that they're only that sort of monopose and you can only have them doing the same thing for both.
Well, it's basically torsoing up. You can't do anything with the bottom half. Really, well, not easily. I mean, if you can
if
sculpt,
you know the way that model goes together, you
Yeah.
can't really do anything with torso up either. Hence, all the bikes have got their blades or single
Off the
spears out to the side.
Yeah.
Which annoys me. And to build
Which you can't even do up in the air because the shoulder pads as well.
To build an Autarch on a new Skyrunner, you need a new normal box of Wind Riders because the Seer ones have got runes all over the front of them, which obviously Autarchs don't have those runes. And then you're looking at where do I get the components from? So I want to kit bash, for example, an Autarch with a laser lance.
Yes.
Because there's a relic, a Simhan specific relic that I never see used, so I want to use it.
I'm just going to clarify here. You want to kit bash a model that already exists because you hate resin
It doesn't
that
exist.
much.
It doesn't exist.
It does exist.
It doesn't exist.
I sent you the link.
I refuse.
You can buy it on GW.
I refuse to acknowledge that model exists for a number of reasons. Firstly,
because it's resin.
Firstly, it uses the old plastic Wind Rider jet bike, which was just laughable, to be quite frank.
Okay.
And secondly, the upgrade stuff is fine cast. No, thank you. So it doesn't exist, basically. And actually, GW proved how bad it was. If you go onto that very page, right, and you scroll through,
which you sent straight back to me.
Exactly. You have 3 images of the model, which they provide for most of their stuff anyway, and a 4th image, which is one sent in by a community member. And they do this now. You can hashtag painting Warhammer on things like Instagram. And if the community team pick up your image, they may put it on the website.
Yeah.
And the one that they've sent back is a completely kit-bashed Autarch with a Howling Banshee head, a normal Wind Rider base, and a lance. I don't know where he's got it from at the moment. So I'm currently looking at using some sort of Drukhari-type weapon to fulfill the laser lance role.
Yeah.
And so it's got no components from that kit at all.
So
nothing.
I was going to say, so kit bashing wise, I mean, I've used some Cabal bits and some Witch bits. That sounds wrong. For my kill team as well, to make them unique. So they're not just basically just guardians wandering around. And the kits, those 2 kits fit together pretty well. I mean, certainly the legs and the torsos all fit together, so you can mix them up a bit.
So what I did start doing when Inari was first a thing years ago was kit bashing Reavers and normal jet bikes together to form. So I had sort of the Reaver seat and the big angry angles that sit at the back of the Reavers.
Yeah.
With the Wind Rider front, which is the smooth cowl, rather than that. I don't like it's just my personal preference, the Reaver pointy sort of end at the front.
The nice thing about those is there's a few different configurations on the Reavers, isn't there? So you get that variation.
And then I had normal Wind Rider bodies, and I had the Reaver heads, which are just the whole bold helm thing.
Yeah, like goldfish bowl.
Yeah. So that's what I did to start with. And I'm now thinking that I could maybe incorporate them into the Shining Spears to just make them look different and stand out from the Wind Riders.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe. Yeah. Anyway, so
seems
that's
reasonable.
Cool.
Well, I mean, if you've got a box of Cabal Warriors, you'd have loads of stuff to play with.
Yeah.
And they're the nice thing about it as well, quite cheap, 18 quid.
Yeah, I suppose that's not bad, is it?
It's not bad.
But for the
I paid
Shining Spear
£9 for a haircut.
I'm looking at big spears, so I'm thinking there might be some sort of maybe the Scourge kit or something, or the Hellion kit, something I can use as a Shining Spear.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll have a look.
Yeah.
More importantly, your kill team sounds awesome. I've seen it in action once. It'll be interesting to play it myself.
Yeah, I mean, in the hands of a complete novice, I didn't do terribly against the Admech.
No.
But Plasma Sam obviously is good.
But what I do love as well, so the one I'm currently playing with is 6 Blood Angels Primaris Marines.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of taking them on with those.
We haven't done that yet.
No, we haven't. And I need to build my own backstory for those Marines, because they, as I've said in the past, act like I think they should act.
Yes.
Actually...
shooty and punchy.
I'll mention this and I'll give him a helping hand because he's brand new. Another patron, a guy called Erik, has recently launched his own YouTube channel called Grim Dark Tales.
Correct.
That's right, isn't it?
It is.
Grim Dark, one word, Tales, two.
Tales, yeah.
And he, 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? When did I watch it? Might have been yesterday. Launched his first ever battle report on the channel. And it was a kill team battle report, fully painted scenery, full board. And he took his Harlequins, which he's recently finished painting, fully painted, diamonds the lot. And his opponent took Primaris Marines, actually.
Okay.
Ultramarines, though, but Primaris Marines nonetheless. And they said at the end...
Ultramarines, a lesser form of Primaris Marine.
Ultramarines, isn't it? Everyone takes Ultramarines.
Smurfs.
Yeah. So check out that battle report, because at the end of it they make a comment about how tough Primaris Marines seem in Kill Team, and for me that's exactly where Primaris Marines should be.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, even frustratingly tough for me. I mean, I played my Gene Stealers against you, and I got into combat a few times, and just punching their heads in. Yeah, it's very disappointing from my perspective.
Yeah, and I think that's where Marines should be. And I think we're struggling in big games of 40k. I think we're struggling to see that kind of Marine-based superhuman physiology. That sort of I don't know how to word it, but that just unbelievable resilience in the face of overwhelming numbers, which we read in all the novels. All the novels, you have Marines back to back, surrounded by orcs or surrounded by Tyranids, and somehow they come out on top.
Yeah,
and if you did that in 40k, you would never come out on top. Ever, really. No.
Well, no, there are some exceptions. Reese from Frontline Gaming has recently did very well at the Nova Open with his pure.
I want to talk about that list at some point.
You need to listen to Chapter Tactics' latest podcast, which is the Frontline Gaming podcast. Because they talk about quite a bit. How to make a mono build army.
I want to talk about that. So I had Bromran of the day at lunchtime, who's got Ultramarines, who's also coming to Confrontation. Yeah. And he's looking at taking Ultramarines to Confrontation. And there's a lot of stuff out there about how you need to be soups to be competitive. And Reese basically proved that that's rubbish. He took a weird combination of a list. But and you listen to it, and my first reaction was like, really? And then when you listen to how it works and how it interacts with each other, it's quite impressive. Actually.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll cover that in a future video because that's cool for people to listen to. But I don't want to hit competitive too many weeks in a row.
We'll get slapped down.
Yeah, it'll upset people.
Yeah. So
anything else you want to tell me about your kill team? Whilst we're sat here talking about your kill team.
Quite like the Aeldari rules.
Yeah.
You can assault without. You can advance without any impedance to your
for
shooting.
Battle focus. Yeah. So this leads me on to actually another question straight away. A lot of people have said this in the Discord. A lot of Patreons said this in the Discord. I think Andy Byrne was one of the world's worst for it as well. A lot of people go, kill team's amazing because I don't have to buy a full army. I could just buy a box or two of models, and there's my kill team.
Month later, 2,000 points of Harlequins.
And what people are finding is they're buying in a box and going, I love these models and these models are really cool. Here's a whole army. Do you see yourself collecting a full... So you're obviously looking at Drukhari and the Codex. Yeah. Do you see yourself going the Asuryani and Aeldari route as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said a few minutes ago that I wouldn't. I didn't really have much interest in an Eldar army, but I think I probably will because I like the aesthetic, and elves is something I've always been interested in. I'm a Tolkien fan, and every time I play like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy, Elder Scrolls. Do you do elves? Yeah, you do, don't you? Or
Skyrim,
Skyrim, or. Final Fantasy 14 online, it's always an Elven and that. So elves are something that I've always been very interested in. So
I'm a big elf fan, and that's what drew me to Eldar in the first instance. When I first went to Eldar, actually the Drukhari range, which was Dark Elder at the time, it wasn't great, and Harlequins were a box of metal, and that was it. So I went down the Eldari route early on. Mostly because when I first went Eldari, they just brought out the new Wraith Guard, Wraith Lord, Wraith Knight type stuff, and I love that. And I love the Eandon force. So the first thing I started doing was painting Eandon, and then I realised that I hate painting yellow, and that's why they're now Simon.
Also a topic on the Discord of late, how horrible it is painting yellow.
Perfect. Right. Okay. So I think what we'll do now is maybe look at some stratagems.
That's probably good. Over to you.
Okay, so this week we're a little bit more prepared than we were last week, because obviously last week you probably saw that we put the Daka stratagem on the green screen behind us.
Well, we thought we were going to, and we did manage it, which was a surprise to us.
Obviously, all we see is a green screen here. We don't actually see the stratagem, so we were talking about it, going, we don't really know the rule.
What is it again?
This is awkward. And then we were talking about the Rogue Trader box set, and I remembered the Galapox Infected, and what I didn't remember was the Elucidian Star Striders.
Yeah.
Almost didn't get it in either. Yeah. So what we have now is we have tablets sat right in front of us, and what we did in the week leading up to this was prep, basically.
So
we're not scripting the whole thing, obviously, as you can probably tell.
No.
What we are doing is having stuff in front of us, so when we read out about stratagems or about rules or about kill team names, etc., we've got it here. And it also means we can do a little bit of reading on each other's topics before we come as well.
Yeah, just general preparation. It's a thing.
Yeah, so this is what we mean, professional TV show. This is what we're creating. Perfect. So basically, like I've said earlier, based on some feedback we had from last week's video, someone said that they would like some more narrative focused type content on the sit and chats, and I'm all for that because this is supposed to be a channel about all things hobby.
Yes.
So we've talked about converting models, we've talked about kill team, and we've talked about the FAQ last week, so now we're going to talk about some narrative stuff.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do for a while is a thing that I'm going to basically just call stratagem focus. I don't think there's anything fancy. I might give it a fancy name after 17 books worth of stuff, and I go, oh, this is a good idea right at the end. But we're going to go for a stratagem focus.
It'll do for now.
So what my prerequisite was to this was that I had to pick basically 5 stratagems from a codex. And I limited myself to 5 because some of the books have got so many good ones.
You could go on forever, couldn't you, really?
So rather than talk about every stratagem, because we'd be here for the next 2 to 3 hours for certain books, I thought I'd pick 5 in no particular order. So I've not ranked them, but these are 5 that I think, for me, are not only, honestly, I believe, useful in game, but they kind of show off what I think is the aesthetic or the purpose or the narrative to that army.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
and I agree with you.
Yeah, and I think that way people can go, that's quite a narrative-based stratagem and something that some things that I would like to see used as well. So one of the ones, the first one I'll talk about on this actually in a minute, is one that you just don't see used ever.
No,
and it's one of the ones I'm most excited about using.
I know. It's kind of for a good reason in a way, because it's for a unit that you don't really see very much. Is that fair to say? Yeah.
In fact,
it's something that's specific to a unit that is not very points efficient. Is
it? And you are right. You don't see them a lot, specifically in competitive type things anyway. Yeah. And that's the whole point.
Maybe you see them all the time in your garage, but we don't see them.
And this is the whole point. This is not about competitiveness. This isn't about having or using Agents of Vect, for example, because as good as that stratagem is, and it arguably could be narrative. That's not what this is about. This isn't about telling you which are the best ones to use and which are the only 5 you ever see in tournament play. These are just ones that I love and I would be keen to use if I had that army. Yeah,
and I think this is something that GW's got a lot better at over time. I think the earlier codexes, a lot of stratagems would kind of like, it's the same one but for Space Marines, and now it's for Imperial Guard, or now it's for this, and it's the same sort of stratagems, and there's not a huge amount of variety, or they're just a bit. They've got better at putting the flavour into them. I mean, I think some of the stratagems in the Space Wolves Codex are really fluffy.
I agree.
They're
and actually,
really nice.
You could also map that across to things like chapter tactics and stuff as well. Yeah. And sort of craft world attributes and whatever. And I think they've got better at those matching what they should as well, which is amazing. And as long as they continue down that path and they continue working hard, and if we do get codex updates, new codexes, or a 9th edition in the future, as long as they continue down that path of pushing the narrative for things like chapter tactics or craft world attributes or high fleet, what do you call them? Not traditions, are they? High fleets. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I played Tyranids, so I can't remember.
Yeah, adaptions, high fleet adaptions.
Yes, that's right.
Then I love it. So this week is the turn of the Adeptus Custodes. Cute image. The reason being,
Custards.
The reason being purely is because I picked the book up about 4 or 5 days ago because I have a shelf full of codexes, and if I'm bored, if I've not much to do, if I don't feel like hobbying with paintbrushes, etc., I'll grab a codex and have a read, just because I like to.
That's hobbying too. It's just
it is. I like reading the narrative in the background, and I also like reading about the army lists. So obviously, a lot of people come to play at Warhammer HQ, whether it be for the channel or for Deployment Zone, and a lot of armies that some people bring I don't know anything about. Yeah, so it's good to read the codexes in that respect as well. And if I'm going to start doing tournaments, and I do intend to start doing tournaments, because Winters has basically said he's not interested. So I thought, well, I'll be the tournament goer. Then it's a good idea also to know your opponent before you turn up, which is amazing.
Definite advantage.
Yeah,
for sure.
So this week I picked up the Adeptus Custodes book, had a skim through some of the narrative, which I'm now reading properly, and I had a look through the rules, the units. There isn't many of them, which is why I also thought this would be an easy start.
Yeah. Ease you in gently.
Yeah, exactly. So to realise how these stratagems synergise with the units is easy, because they've got like 10 units in the book. So selfishly, it made my life a little bit easier as well.
And you only use 2 of them. Yeah. 3 of them, sorry.
What? Units in the book?
Yeah, you only ever see 3 of them, don't
you? You do, yeah. So one of the standout units for me, one of the units I love the most in the Codex, which is what we were talking about earlier and you don't see, is the Aeldari Custodians. Their models are, quite frankly, glorious.
Yeah, they are great. They look fantastic.
They're some of the best work I've seen recently from GW, in my opinion.
Yeah, they've really captured that kind of like grand kind of. They're like walking statues. They really look the part. You know,
gods that look like they can murder you in a second.
Yeah.
So the custodians, the Aeldari Custodians, for me are a wonderful box of models. They've got some cracking rules, in my opinion, and you are kind of right. The reason why we don't see them is points efficiency, essentially.
Yeah, they're very expensive.
But screw points efficiency. We're talking about narrative stuff.
Yes.
So the first 2 stratagems actually I've got are both for the Aeldari Custodians. Now, if you don't know Aeldari Custodians, they're quite frankly beasts. So they are a Terminator, essentially, that costs about 84 points with an axe. Each.
It's a lot.
They hit their weapon skill ballistic skill 2+, their strength toughness 5. They have 4 wounds, I think it is. Yeah, 4 wounds, 4 attacks, 2 up armor save, 4 up invulnerable save if in a pure Custodian's detachment, because they have 5 up standard +1 for being battle forged essentially. And they get a deep strike rule, leadership 9. They're just monsters. Now they're strength 5 base, like I say. Their axes give them +3 strength, -2 AP, and D3 damage. And they don't suffer a -1 to hit with those, so they're strength 8 hitting on 2 still.
Yeah, it's pretty tasty.
Absolute tanks.
Yeah,
absolute
tank killers.
Yeah, so I love them. They also have the Ballistaric Grenade Launcher, which is it's like a pistol type thing, I guess, but it's a strength 4 AP -3 weapon, which is awesome. So I love them. I think they're awesome.
They are pretty tasty.
And they get the free deep strike. So there is a stratagem in the book, which I'm not going to cover, but there is a stratagem in the book which allows you to deep strike, called From Golden Light They Come.
Yeah.
And but they don't need it because they have that as a rule, which is one of the things I love about them. So this is where the stratagems now start to come into play. So I like the idea of a squad of 4 or 5. Very points intensive. Very points intensive. And the reason why I like, obviously their axes as well. I should mention, on top of their grenade launchers, their axes can also shoot. They're a rapid fire bolt gun, strength 4, AP -1, flat 2 damage. I like the idea of a squad of 5 deep striking in the middle of it. So your enemy, your opponent leaves a gap. And it's going to be a pretty big gap because of the rules of deep strike.
Well, they're on 50mm bases.
Or they move forward and leave a gap in their backfield. I love the idea of dropping 3 to 5 of these in behind.
Yeah.
And the first one I'll talk about, actually, which is the second one down the list, is called Inescapable Vengeance. So Inescapable Vengeance is 2 command points for the Aeldari Custodians. You use this stratagem when you select a unit of Aeldari Custodians from your army to make their attacks in the shooting phase, and they can target enemy characters with their attacks, even if they're not the closest enemy model.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at, if they're in rapid fire range, you're looking at 5 to 10 if you're not in rapid fire range.
Yeah.
Strength 4, AP -1, 2 damage shots.
Yeah, this character killers
and
for sure.
And 5 of these grenade launchers at strength 4, AP -3. So they could, conceivably, with a lot of the standard characters out there, not people with shield eternals or smash captains, you're looking at some serious damage.
Still pretty decent volume of fire though, pumping out from a few models. Yeah. So I think they're pretty much, if they're going to shoot any character, they're pretty much going to delete them, aren't they?
Yeah, well, most of them, yeah. People like librarians, Tigerius, people like that, who don't have a vulnerable save specifically, are going to really sting with these.
Yeah, definitely.
And a lot of characters out there, for example, my Dark Apostle, he has a 4+ invulnerable save with a single corruption. So that -1 on their custodian axes means he's getting a 4-up save or suffering 2 damage a time. Yeah. And he's a model with only 4 wounds.
Yeah.
So that stings big time.
That's it. I mean, there's not that many characters that are in that upper bracket anyway. Well, they're close to the 10 wounds anyway.
So I think that's an awesome stratagem, and I just love the idea that they come teleporting onto the battlefield as Alluris Terminators, who are basically the finest of the finest.
Yeah.
And go,
cream
character,
of the cream.
Get
They're
rid
like,
of him.
You dead.
So they are their hunted prey, and they flatten them as they arrive.
It's pretty cool.
So I love that stratagem.
Yeah.
It is expensive at 2 command points, and it's even more expensive when you consider that 3 of them are 252 points. But for 3 of them at 252 points, you are getting 12 wounds. You're getting 12 attacks.
Yeah. You'd expect your opponents to have to put a really concerted effort in to shift them in one turn, wouldn't you?
You would expect, if you've got 5 of them specifically, which is obviously even more points, you'd expect your opponent to put even more into killing them if you drop this next stratagem.
Yeah.
Now, this is probably my most favourite stratagem in the Codex.
Yeah.
And
I imagine people are going to know what you're on about here before you say.
I don't know why. A lot of people go, really, it's rubbish. It doesn't do anything apart from give kill points away if you're playing that type of mission.
Sure.
This is my favourite one, and it's called Unleash the Lions.
Yeah.
The name of it's just cool.
Yeah, it is.
The name of it's cool. And this is for Aeldari Custodians as well.
Sounds like it should be for Dark Angels, doesn't it?
And what I like about this, if you read the fluff in the Custodes book or narrative, depending on what type of person you are and you know which way you swing. If you read narrative, basically it will talk about how Custodians are to Space Marines what Space Marines are to the normal mortal man, essentially. Yeah. And where Space Marines get together in companies, squadrons, etc., and take on the opponent, Custodians fight as a single, and their martial prowess is such that they take on the equivalent on their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this matches that narrative.
It does
perfectly.
Yeah.
Even obviously every stratagem has got a title, a little bit of narrative, and then the box. And the little bit of narrative reads, "Many are the tales of heroic bands of Aeldari Custodians engaging entire armies in fierce battle." That's cool. That's cool.
In a book, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. So the stratagem's 2 command points. Again, it's expensive, and considering you don't get many custodians for 1750 points.
You don't get many points, do you?
And I'm just smashing 4 command points straight away.
On one very expensive unit.
Use this stratagem at the start of your movement phase. That's important, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Select a unit of Aeldari custodians from your army on the battlefield. The unit is immediately split into separate units, each containing a single model.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So it's just the idea, you just got that. Well, so it's at the beginning, isn't it?
That's
so
the struggle.
You can't do it when they deep strike.
No. What I originally envisaged when I read this stratagem early on, and I did what everybody does when they read stratagems really early on. I read it, didn't fully read it. I took it the way I wanted to read it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love the idea of dropping in 5 custodians, paying 2 command points, which I think, considering the cost, would be fair, and going scatter.
Well, this is the argument for having larger units, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it makes your command point spendage more.
And I love the idea, because there's 2 command points, that you would be able to do it after deep striking. I like the idea of deep striking, splitting them, because you can't move. So at least if you split them, you then are just charging in 5 different directions. But I love the idea of charging 5 different squads of Chaos Space Marines or whatever. With that, amazing.
It would be great.
But you can't do that, alas.
No, you can't do that. Not having it.
So what you have to do instead is you have to drop them in at the end of turn 2, because you can't do it in turn 1 anymore, because that got nerf batted. Spend 2 command points and delete a character, obviously, with unescapable vengeance.
Yeah.
And then the next turn, spend another 2 command points.
You forgot the pray bit in between that they don't just die.
Toughness 5, 4 wounds, 2 up armor save, 4 up invulnerable save.
They're tough. They're tough.
They might die.
They're tough. Yeah.
Since AP2, Winters and I decided that AP2 is the sweet spot. So they could still struggle. But I love the idea of spending 2 command points on this band of lunatics, this group of utter tanks, and separating them up, and the fact that they can go and engage individual squads on their own and win that fight.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to pull that off, which you can't actually do it. But if you were to,
well, you can.
We can in the following turn. But if you were to pull that off, I mean, the chances are very, very slim. But that could be potentially devastating if you tie up 3 separate units, or
more importantly,
even 5.
It's arguably again slightly easier to pull it off in narrative play. So the current rule for deep striking on turn 2 onwards, which is a beta rule for the new FAQ that's coming, is for match play games. And we're talking about narrative. So, narratively speaking, you could put your unit of Custodian Aeldari in reserve, and you could still bring them on turn 1. And then you'd only be waiting until turn 2 to split, and you could arguably then have turn 2, 3, 4, 5, where they are operating as a single unit.
But it's again, so if you deep strike them in, are they just going to sit there? Or are you going to try and charge?
It's hard.
You're going to try and charge, really, aren't you? Because then at least they're in combat, and they're at least they're safe in combat.
What I like the idea of maybe is if you could make the 5, if you could get the 5 into the fight, if you could charge the 5 in when you've deep struck, and I'm using 5 as just an example.
Yeah.
If you don't slaughter what you hit in the first turn you charge, which is quite likely,
probably will,
and you do tie them up, then in the opponent's turn you'll probably finish them off, and by that point you're then free in your turn to split them into 5,
and then
you
go bam.
So there's still a way you can
explode out. Yeah.
So I love it. I love that strategy.
It's really cool. I mean, just the idea that they just drop down as brothers, and then they just go their own separate ways. And
so the next one that I've got on the list is one that I actually think is quite an effective one as well, and I don't see it used very often, but I actually think this could take even a bog standard unit of Custodian Guard and make them excellent. That with Custodian, their signature weapon, the first weapon you hear about them with in the Horus Heresy series in Flight of the Eisenstein is the Custodian Spear, the Guardian
Spear.
It's the first weapon you see. Now the Guardian Spear basically is a +1 strength, AP -3, D3 from memory, D3 damage weapon. I think I'm right.
I can't correct you because I don't know.
Yeah, so they're basic strength 5, all Custodians pretty much. That makes them strength 6, AP -3, D3 damage. Yeah. They're good.
The only issue I have, they're halberds, aren't they? They're not spears.
Yeah, well, they can't. Yeah, I guess they kind of are halberds. But anyway, they have a bolt gun fitted, which again is a strength 4, AP -1, flat 2 damage, rapid fire weapon. They're amazing weapons, to be fair, but they are carried by the Emperor's finest, so you expect them to be good. Now they have a stratagem called Piercing Strike. I'm going to read the narrative for each stratagem actually because I love it.
Go for it.
Placing their spear blows perfectly. The Custodians pierce armor joints and vital systems to slay enemy war engines. This is incredible. This is the fact that they can They just know their enemy. They know where to attack, where to strike, where to fight, where to really wound people.
Precision.
And that precision and efficiency is how they can take out massive units or bigger targets, bigger foes. So the basic rule: use this stratagem when you select an Adeptus Custodes unit from your army to attack in the fight phase, and add 1 to wound rolls made for that unit's Guardian Spears until the end of the phase. Now, Custodian Guard can have Guardian Spears. Aeldari Custodes can have Guardian Spears. Wardens can have Guardian Spears. Your HQs, like your Shield Captains, can have Guardian Spears. So this could be applied to almost any unit in the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only one this can't be applied to is the Praetorians, or Praetors, or however you say it. Praetors. That's the one. Thank you. Which are the jet bikes who have the giants or lances instead.
Lances, yeah.
But +1 to wound. It is like Veterans of the Long War for Chaos.
Yeah.
Now, as a World Eaters Chaos player, I use Veterans of the Long War a lot.
Yeah,
because that
definitely.
+1 to wound is so important.
For your berserkers, yeah.
And if you think about a unit of Custodian Spears at strength 6, anything toughness 3, 4, 5, you're wounded on. Sorry, 4, 5, you're wounded on 3s.
Yeah.
Drop that 2s.
Yeah.
It makes a massive difference.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A massive difference. And arguably, actually, at strength 6, you hit vehicles at toughness 7, and you can now suddenly win them on 4s.
Yeah.
Which again makes a big difference.
That's kind of what it alludes to there, isn't it? You know, slay enemy
easier.
war engines, but realistically, you're going to use it just because it just gives you more reliability taking out infantry as well.
And when you think of a Custodian Guard, although not as good as an Aluris, he still has 3 attacks each.
Oh yeah, they're still beasts.
So 3 of them are still kicking out 9 attacks, and if you've got this stratagem on and you're fighting, say for example, Space Marines or Primaris Marines, you'll be hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s.
Yes, yeah.
So suddenly 3 Custodian Guard slaughter 5, 6, maybe 7, 8 Primaris Marines, which is amazing because they're D3 damage weapons as well. So average on the dice.
Sounds great. I'd want like 30 of them. You
wouldn't fit it in the list. They're very expensive. But it's a cool stratagem, and it's a single command point, which is the important part.
Yeah, so it's cheap.
This is the cheapest command. It's the cheapest stratagem.
It's the only cheap one.
It's the only one I've picked, which I think is really good value for points.
Yeah.
Saying that, we'll move on to the next one, which I originally thought was a bit steep at 2 command points. I've now noticed that it's in a lot of battle reports, and I was like, do I put this one still in because it's arguably a very, very strong one. But the point of this is that not only we talked about narrative stratagems, we do talk about narrative stratagems that work well as well. Rather than just picking trash ones because that'd be pointless. And this one you'll see a lot, you've heard a lot probably, it's called Victor of the Blood Games. As a 2 command point stratagem, it's used in the deployment phase, and you can use it, because it's in the deployment phase, as many times as you want.
Yes.
Although it's priced at 2 command points.
It is, yeah.
The fluff behind it. What foe can withstand a warrior who has overcome the defences of Holy Terror itself? So the Blood Games, if you don't know the narrative, do you know the narrative about
I
the Blood
don't,
Games?
no.
So basically, what the Custodians do, they obviously defend guard Terror and the Golden Throne and look after the Emperor. Yeah. And they have a thing called the Blood Games. Basically, Custodians go out and try and attack Terror. And Custodians fight Custodians essentially, and they're testing defences, and that's what the Blood Games are. That's why it says, who has overcome the defences of Holy Terror itself. So you're a victor of the Blood Games, you've attacked Terror, and you've made it through as a Custodian. This is why you're a victor of the Blood Games.
Yeah, right.
So one thing I don't like about it is you can use it as many times as you want.
Yeah.
I don't like that because how many are going to be victors of the Blood Games, really?
Yeah, but you're never going to be able to afford to do more than, max 2, really.
Well, 4.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
You could if you had a.
You could, but I mean,
if you had a battalion detachment with 8 command points, you could use it 4 times.
You'd have to be a lunatic.
I would like a 1 use only in here, but you can't.
Yeah.
The stratagem reads: use this stratagem when you set up an Adeptus Custodes character from your army during deployment. You can reroll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, or 1 save roll for this model in each turn. Now, importantly, it says each turn, so it sounds bad because you only get 1 or the other, but it's not that bad.
No.
So if you look at it and read it per turn, means in your turn, when you're attacking, you can basically reroll a hit or a wound roll. In the enemy's turn, when they fight you, you can then reroll a save throw.
Do the same again.
So in 1 game turn, where I've had a go and you've had a go, I get 2 rerolls essentially.
Yeah.
That's the 2 command points straight away back. So every other turn then that you use a reroll, it's free.
Yeah, absolutely. I get what you're saying there. I mean, that in terms of that, it is efficient.
And it can take a shield captain in Aluris Custodian Terminator armor, because I love the Terminators. Yeah. And it could make him an absolute beast, couldn't it, when you think about it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, again, I mean, they're already, really reliable, aren't they? I mean, they roll like 2+ everything basically.
Massive murdering monsters.
Really, yeah, they're really reliable, and this just makes them that much more reliable again, doesn't it? So,
but my only criticism of it is I would like a 1 use only on this, just because I think that if you were to pick a single character in your army to be the victor of the blood games, I'd be all over that. I think that'd be amazing. I don't like the fact that you can spam it, which means if you have a big enough,
well, you don't have to spam it.
You don't have to spam it, but you talk about potential lists that can generate many command points, guard battalions with shield captain attachments on the side. You could give one of your shield captains that, and I don't like that from a narrative perspective, because not many people become victors of the blood games. Yeah.
But
it's cool. I love it. And I love the fact that you can give that character, who is already an absolute monster, who most squads of men would fear, that extra as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is cool.
Like it.
And then the last one that I've picked, and this is expensive.
It really is.
The unit you use it on, you see all the time. This stratagem, you don't.
No, probably not. But I think it's just because of the limited number of command points, because it is a powerful stratagem. That's
exactly why. It's 3 command points. I'm finishing on a high. It's 3 command points, this stratagem. I love the theory behind the stratagem. It's called Stooping Dive. So you see Praetors a lot on the battlefield. They are incredibly good. And even 3 of them at 270 points are quite points efficient when you think about it. They're toughness 6, 4 or 5 wounds each. Again, a 2-up save. They at 270 points, they're only armed with hurricane bolters, but that means that you've got 18 shots at 24. And then 36 shots at 12 inches from 3 units that hit on 2s.
Yeah, exactly. Again, reliability with those is immense, and that number of shots. I mean, they're going to chew through chaff.
And if you haven't got big numbers in a custodian army, because if you're going pure custodians, you won't have big numbers. Having 3 bolter shots at 2 damage each at AP-1 per custodian guard squad, stroke 6 shots at rapid fire range, isn't going to slow the orc horde.
No, it's not. It's going to put a dent in it, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
so
it's not.
Having these hurricane bolters does, but they're just normal bolter shells. Where they shine is in melee, and they're giant, great big lances.
Which are stupidly big.
Yeah, they are big, aren't they?
It's a big old bike they're on it, so they've got to be big enough so that you can actually hit something.
So when they hit elite stuff in melee, they do very well. They're just good. They're 14-inch movement jet bikes. They auto advance 6 inches. They're very, very good. They're very points. I say they're not points efficient, but they're for their points cost.
Yeah,
they're one of the better units in the codex.
I think the only thing that's more points efficient, if you like, is actually the captains of the bikes.
And this is where the Alluris do fall down, because, like I say, 3 jet bikes, 270 points. 3 Alluris Custodian Terminators, 252 points. So you're talking an 18-point difference. They have a higher toughness, the same number of wounds, same number of attacks, a lot more mobility.
So much movement. Oh my
God.
A
lot more mobility.
Is it 14-inch move?
It's 14-inch move base, auto 6-inch advance because they're on a jet bike. They got the fly keyword, they can fall back and shoot. They're just incredible.
And they've got objective secured.
But I love this stratagem. If you sit them on a flank somewhere, if you want to protect something important, your opponent's not going to want to charge them because their spears are good. Actually, because we've got this iPad thing on the go, I could probably show you their spears right now. I know, it's the magic of technology, isn't it? It's amazing.
We'll just sit here and watch you.
Yeah, that'd be really, really awkward, wouldn't it? So people aren't going to want to fight these things in melee because they are good. And if you have a shield captain in a bike nearby, they're even better because shield captains allow you to reroll to hit rolls of a 1. This custodian book's not even big, it's taking me ages to get through it. Shield captains allow you to reroll to hit rolls of a 1. You can give them the missiles. I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah,
I'm not sure they're popular. The missiles are heavy weapons. They have a melter profile, which is a strength 8 AP -4, D6 damage, a reroll failed to wounds against vehicles, which is obviously very, very good. But it's -1 to hit, and it's a single shot as opposed to a hurricane bolter. Which is good, but it's not that good. They have the Skyfire missile, the flak missile type things, which are amazing. They're D3 shots, and if you hit something with the fly keyword, you get +1 to hit, and they're a heavy weapon, so you're still only hitting on 2s.
Still hit on 2s.
Strength 7 AP -1 D3 damage, which is good again, but it's D3 shots. Hurricane bolters. I mean, for me, every day.
There's buckets of dice is the way to win, isn't it? I mean, you want to take some out, you need to throw a lot of dice at it.
Yeah, so the Interceptor Lance, there we go, and you can tell that I've now got it up on the screen because I remember the name of it, is +1 strength, -3 AP and D3 damage. So essentially it's a Guardian Spear, on a bike. And importantly, you can reroll failed wound rolls for this weapon on a turn in which its bearer made a successful charge.
Yeah, okay.
And that fits in really nicely with the stratagem we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be making the charge if you use the stratagem successfully. So, guided by their predictive auguries and centuries of combat experience, the Virtus Praetors excel at swooping down to intercept threats the moment they manifest themselves. Essentially, it's like lightning fast reactions, kind of.
Yeah.
But rather than being defensive for the Eldar, they're aggressive. And that's why I love it. Use this stratagem at the end of your opponent's charge phase. And that's another reason why I love it, because it's out of turn.
Yeah.
Choose an Adeptus Custodian's bike unit from your army that is within 12 inches of an enemy unit. You can declare a charge of that unit as if it were your charge phase. If the unit's charge is successful, that unit fights before all other units in the subsequent fight phase, even before charging units. If your opponent has any units with similar abilities, take it in turns to resolve them, beginning with your opponent.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You get first turn, and I don't know, Deep Striker. So obviously first turn Deep Striker isn't a thing in match play, but narrative play. You drop a load of demons in front of me, for example.
Yeah.
And you either make or fail a charge. You're probably not going to look at charging bloodletters into those jet bikes, I'd imagine. Probably.
Don't know.
You might do.
I guess. Oh, well.
But I love the fact that at the end of your charge phase, I get to drop this and go, I'm going to charge, by the way. And then not only do I get to charge, but I get to fight before you fight. So what I love about it is the idea that these could be sort of like a bodyguard maybe for your warlord type thing.
Yeah.
And your warlord is angry and aggressive and up front, and you go, I need to slay the warlord. And you're charging on that warlord.
Yeah, you think like counter-charging, but it's like straight in there.
So obviously
you don't even get, it's not a counter-charge, it's a nullified charge almost.
So the stratagem, the way it reads, you don't even have to charge something that's charged. So you can just charge any enemy unit.
Yeah.
You just spend 3 command points and you charge an enemy unit within 12 inches. The way I like to read it from a narrative perspective is that I counter-charge something that's charged. So for example, you charge a big unit of nasty at my warlord, for example, who might be an Aeldari Custodian Terminator, because I love them. And I like the idea that these things come ploughing through and clean them out before they even get to him.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Just the thought of that is nuts.
Now, 3 command points is expensive, and that's
expensive.
probably why we don't see it, but I do love the idea of using it. And I imagine by the time this would come into play, most Custodian players have probably used most of their command points.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the reality is that any Custodian player, they're only going to be using one of these, or maybe 2 of them.
Yeah, if they're a pure Custodian player. So obviously there's a way of getting a lot more command points if you're using Custodians. With bigger point games, it's even easier. And that is guard batteries and stuff. I'm trying to talk from a pure Custodian perspective.
Yes, this is a narrative chat.
Yeah, so if you've got a pure Custodian army, and for me that looks like 3 to 4 squads of guards, a couple of shield captains, one on a bike, one on foot, a squad of bikes, a squad of Terminators, maybe even a squad of Wardens. I actually learned the other day that Wardens are pretty decent.
Yeah, they look cool as well. I like the models.
They're like the Terminators. Cool. They have 1 less wound, I think, but they have a 6 up for no pain. And they don't get to deep strike, but they do get to advance towards characters, I think, naturally. Oh, no, that's a Custodian, the Aeluris. Anyway, either way.
Yeah, they're not bad, is what we're saying.
So I think, for me, from my personal perspective, the Custodian narrative list wouldn't, for me, include Land Raiders and Contemptor Dreads and stuff like that. Because and I tend to not talk about Forge World because I don't really use Forge World.
No, resin.
Yeah, exactly, the devil. So narrative Custodian lists would employ most of all the infantry-based units, and some of these as well, obviously. And the idea that 3 command points in that list, it's a sting. If you've got 8, 3's a sting.
Oh God, yeah.
But you could, I mean, you could take Trajan Valoris.
3 is an expensive stratagem for any army. Even if you have got a guard battery, it's still a lot of command points to sink in one go.
If you're rocking 12 to 14 command points, for example, and you can get them back on 5s and 6s, 3's a lot less of a gamble. You're looking at maybe getting at least one of those back. And you have got in the Custodian's book, you've got Trajan Valoris, who is a 250 point character.
Oh yeah.
But he's got a moment shackle, and basically it has one of 3 abilities. And one of those abilities you could use is at any point you use a stratagem, you roll a d3. And you get up to that number of command points back, up to the maximum as being the command point you spent, or the stratagem you spent. So if you spent this one, you would potentially get all 3 back if you want a 5 or a 6.
Yeah. I think the biggest, well, not the biggest, another issue with this is that you still have to roll a charge, don't you?
You do, yeah.
So you could drop 3 command points, roll to charge,
and fail. You could. That is a massive risk.
That's going to suck.
But I'm not talking about it from a complete gameplay perspective. I'm talking about it from the narrative. They come bowling through an enemy before they even get a chance to fight. I love that. With their
And if it goes off, if and when it goes off, you're going to be so chuffed.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
I'd imagine you may have to play this 3 or 4 times just to get it to work once. But when it works...
that one time it does, that will be the time, the story you tell, right?
Hopefully it's the one that's on camera.
Yeah.
Perfect. Right.
Fingers crossed.
So yeah. So that's a feel. There's 5 stratagems. There's narrative behind them. I love the way they feel, the way they would play if they were successful. I just love it. I think they're brilliant stratagems. Maybe you guys out there that have played custodians, maybe the guys that played against custodians, you've got a different take. There's other stratagems that use out there. There's definitely stronger ones.
Yeah.
Shoulder the Mantle's one that comes to mind straight away for a command point, swapping your warlord constantly.
Yes.
And a couple of others that are out there that are really good.
Great for competitive play as well.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you normally see 3 shield captains at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think the one you probably see the most is Open the Vaults for additional relics, to be honest. So maybe you've used others and you prefer others. Drop them in the comments below, talk to us, let us know what you like, what you don't like.
Please, yeah.
Because we're really interested. And I'm specifically interested if you're a pure custodian player.
Yeah.
Nothing against those that mix them in with other armies. We're all for narrative-based soup lists as well. But if you're a pure custodian player, let us know. Let us know how you use the stratagems and what you use. Because what I would like to see in the distant future, and I don't think it will happen, this is a wish list that just won't occur. I would like to see, Winters did it in the Galmec incident, which is the narrative campaign on deploymentzone.tv. He scrapped command point rerolls.
Yeah, can't do it. Yeah.
I would love actually now with the way the game goes. So the game is based kind of on narrative story, power building, etc. But it's also built on the randomness of dice rolling.
Yeah.
And that command point reroll was removing that randomness.
Yeah, I think it's people like more control, don't they?
They do. So you take the gamble of firing a melter at a tank, and you've got D6 damage because it's a melter or a las cannon, and you roll a 1.
Sucks.
How many people now, if they've got command points, will leave that as a 1 and go? The dice have said it is a 1.
That's definitely spend it and reroll. Yeah, and
I think that's taken some of the. For me, it's taken some of the fun out of it for both of you. I guess for the
depends if you run Melter or not, doesn't it?
It also depends on whether you're the defender or the attacker at that point.
Yeah.
So for the defender, I think it's more fun to just 1 dice roll. That's your fate. For the attacker, I suppose it's more fun to go, I've got a little bit of reliability here.
Yeah.
Rather than, I'm in trouble.
Like most doors in this game, it swings both ways. It's like a chef's door, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Goes both ways.
Does the chef's door swing both ways?
Yes, it does, yeah. And a kitchen, generally.
I will trust what he's saying.
It's so that when you carry a tray, you can back through it each way.
Right. We'll have to demonstrate that one.
Random tangent, there you go.
Yeah. That was random tangent.
Really random, yeah.
Cool. Right, so that's the structure, that's the video, that's what we're doing, that's the sort of thing we're going to be doing from now on, hopefully.
Yeah.
I think it's worked. We're kind of on time.
Well, you tell us, what do you think? Do you like the structure? Should we keep doing it? Should we change it? What do you think?
Obviously, stratagem focus won't happen every single week, neither will kill team focus every single week.
Exactly.
This is just the sort of thing we're going to touch on in an attempt to be a rounded hobby channel. It's all about everything.
I think it will be sort of fairly random to start off with, but we will come back to some of these topics and carry on with them. But obviously, we've had loads of suggestions, which is fantastic, but it makes it quite difficult for us to decide what we're going to do. We've got it's a nice difficult, you know, because we've got so much to choose
on our shared app thing with all our sort of prompt cards and stuff. There's a section of ideas, basically, isn't there?
Yes.
Future ideas and future videos, and there is a lot of them already. We'll cover as many of these as we can. Some of them will be dedicated videos, I think.
Probably.
Especially if we manage to do this a little bit more frequent. So if we manage to film 2 in a week, one will be the weekly catch-up, which is this, the 2 beards, 1 chat, and one of them will be a topic, maybe. So feel free to drop topics in the comments below if you want to as well. We've got loads from our patrons on Discord, and we'll probably be looking at doing some of them as well, because they're paying customers. So
yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully, like we say, you like the structure. Let us know. Give us feedback. But that's done. So to wrap the video up, thank you everyone who's chosen to subscribe recently. Thank you specifically to all the guys who are patrons of the channel. If you want to be a patron, there is a link that will be on the screen. It's also in the video description below. We've got a wonderful community of people.
Yes.
There's a fair few in there actually nowadays.
Sign up and you can be a legend too.
Yeah, that's going to be a new slogan. I'm going to get you like the old recruitment poster for World War, whatever it was, 2, 1, something like that. Anyway, so our patrons are wonderful. They're legends, they're heroes. I love all of them. They're brilliant hobbyists, which is the most important thing.
And friends now.
Most of them, yeah.
This is it. I mean, meet these people, and I think we can call
not Richie. Feel free to join Patreon. A massive shout out goes to Element Games. Element Games sponsor us, and they sponsor Winters SEO, and they sponsor DZ TV altogether. I know it should be DZ, but DZ just sounds much better.
Definitely DZ.
So they also sponsor deploymentzone.tv. They sponsor all 3 together. under the same link. They are linked below. Go check them out. If you hit that link, they know you've come from us. Bookmark it, remember it. It's the same one for Winters, it's the same one for DZ. And like I say, they know the custom comes from us and it makes us look good. And they're loving the customers coming from Warhammer and Winters fans at the moment.
I bet they are.
Element, I'm really chuffed. It's a really good relationship we have with those. Definitely. Those guys are awesome. And a big shout out to Matt, who's mine and Winters' specific rep. He's a brilliant bloke. Finally, that's it actually. I was about to say finally the sceneries from Game.e, which is what I normally do for
they're nice people too.
Yeah, that's about it I think, to be honest.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Is there anything you would like to say before we go?
Just thank you for everyone. These videos have been really warmly received. Everyone seems really happy with them. Loads of good feedback. I just want to keep hearing what people got to say in the comments, but also on the Discord as well. I'm an admin on the Discord, so I spend a lot of time talking to the guys on there, and they're mostly nice people. You know who you are,
Richie.
But yeah, just a thank you, really. Just please keep coming back to us. Thank you for your engagement, and more, please.
I wanted to give Mike the chance. This is his third video. The first one was our kitchen towel incident, obviously. And then the last one was episode 1 of our sort of weekly series.
Yeah.
So it's good. You have been very warmly received.
Yeah.
And this is quite easy. And because we get to, I almost said we get to bounce off each other there, and that wouldn't have sounded right. Because we get to engage and chat rather than just me and the camera, it does make life a little bit easier as well. And it makes it easier to flow, which is awesome.
Basically what we do anyway.
It is. We've just got a camera here and a big green screen.
Yeah, and lights. And
the last thing I was going to say, instead of scenery, was we also have a link below for Redbubble. Redbubble's got Warhammer merchandise on it, t-shirts, mugs, jumpers, etc. So.
It's also where I got this t-shirt from.
Did you?
Yeah.
I never knew.
Yeah.
It's not a Warhammer one.
No, it's not. No.
Right.
Never mind.
Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Love you. Bye.